Hello! My name is Mallory, otherwise known as Just a Dose of Love all around the internet. So you can find me on Instagram, Reddit, Facebook, and Ravelry under Just a Dose of Love, though I am most active on Instagram. I'm recording on August 23rd, yes, Sunday, August 23rd. It's about 5:45 p.m. in Edmonton, Alberta, where I live with my favorite feline, soulmate and life partner, Sasika Sonia, who's my cat, Chris, and a snake named Heidi. If you are a new viewer, welcome to the channel. This is a bi-weekly podcast about knitting and crafts and maybe sometimes sewing and basically whatever else I happen to be making at the time. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I'm so glad that you are here and get to spend some time together today. Now, I'm just going to start blabbing, I guess. That's what I do. You may have noticed my intro is a little bit different today. So it's no longer Chris, Connor, and a snake named Heidi. Connor and his lovely girlfriend, Bree, found their own place and they moved out. So that's really, really exciting. That was the end of July that happened. It was very quick. They basically went to go look at a place on Saturday, and the same day they got the phone call that they were accepted, and less than 2 weeks later, they were gone. Which is crazy. Connor had been my roommate for almost 6 years. It would have been our 6-year roommate anniversary about a week and a half after he moved out. So that is crazy. There's lots of things that have been happening in my life. Obviously that is one of the bigger ones. And one of the things that happened when Connor moved out is I got a new room. So I'm not going to show you it yet because it's not finished, but this is my new craft and music room, and I am so excited. I've been dreading Connor moving out for a long time, but one of the positives is now I have this beautiful craft room music space. You can see my piano behind me. Some of my headpieces that I've made over the years are up here. They're not going to stay there probably. I'd like to have some floating shelves where they get to rest up there. I have a guitar in the corner here. I've got some ideas on how I would like my flute to be up and displayed. I have no idea what I want to do with the violin yet, but it's a work in progress. I've got some fairy twinkle lights along 2 of the walls and some hanging tulle. I guess you never saw the hanging tulle in my other room, which is the orange room. It's my bedroom. But there is tulle that hangs along the top to hide the light cords and then drapes down the sides. And I have the same kind of idea going on in here. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to be my permanent podcasting spot or if I'm going to have one of the walls with the fairy lights hanging down, because I did really like the fairy lights in my previous spot. Really like them in here. A little sad that maybe that's not going to be the future of my podcasting spot, but we will see. To be determined. Anyways, I'm going to contain my excitement with all of the non-knitting things that I would like to tell you, and I'm going to wait until the end of the podcast to talk about all of that. And instead, I'm just going to jump now right into what is on my needles. Okay, so actual knitting content. What is on my needles? Right now, I just started a new sock this morning. So this is my Bumblebush sock pattern. Originally, I had made a set for my friend Max, so I don't have the originals to show you. They are in their forever home at his house. But I am re-knitting a pair now. So they are, all I really have is the cuff, so there's not a lot to show you. This is knit up in the Ancient Arts colorway. It's called Just Dance. It's on their fingering sock base, and it's a 75-25 superwash merino silk blend. So I know it's may not be quite as durable as the nylons, but these are for me, and I don't wear my socks outside of the house, and I don't wear them very often inside the house either, because I really don't like when little bits of cat hair and fuzzy pills get all over it. So I think it's gonna be just fine. But this yarn has been hanging out in my stash for a long time, and it is so pretty. Oh, so pretty. It makes me think of like an ocean. It's got such bright, beautiful blues. Here's the ball if you'd like to see it as well. And I think it is going to be perfect for this sock pattern reknit. If you've seen the last few podcasts, you'll know that I'm on a little bit of a quest, not a quest. What am I thinking? It's not a goal. It is a goal, but I'm on a, insert word here, a mission. There we go. I am on a mission to reknit and republish my patterns that are up on Ravelry. I think a lot of them, well, not all of them, I love them all very dearly, but I think some of them maybe could have a little bit of a better yarn choice that would showcase the pattern better. And it's also a chance for me to take a look through the pattern, see if there's anything that needs to be tweaked word-wise or reworded so that it makes a little bit more sense. So that is what I'm doing. And this will be the second one, so be on the lookout. The Bumblebush pattern will be re-released in the next 3 to 5 weeks. Yes. So that is one of the things that's on my needles. Oh, and if you are curious, these are 2.75 millimeter /US 2 circular needles. They're, oh look, you can see my eyeball. They are 9-inch circulars, or what is that, 23 centimeters or so. So just itty bitties. That's how I like to knit up most of my socks. I'm not a fan of double pointed needles. The worst part of making socks for me is when you have to get to the toes for the heels and pull at your DPNs and start like, and just switch it all the time. Not a fan. Oh well. Anyways, my second project on my needle, I have a bit of a palette cleanser project going on right now. I'm very close to being done. So this is just a sock tube currently, because what I'm doing is knitting up, well, I have knit the sock tube. I finished the sock tube last night. And these are going to be Afterthought Everything socks. So here they are. I used the entire 100-gram ball of yarn, and I guess maybe not quite entire. There's about 2 rounds worth of yarn left over, and that's it. So I think I planned it pretty perfectly, actually. This has got to be less than a gram of yarn. It's got to be like half a gram of yarn. And it's perfect. So what happens with Afterthought Everything socks, just in case you've never heard of or have never tried these yourself, you start at the cuff and then you knit and knit and knit and knit. Maybe not quite so far if you would like shorter socks, but then you finish with the cuff on the other side, bind off with a super stretchy bind off. Personally, I'm a fan of, is it Jenny's super stretchy bind off? Really love it. That's what I do for most of my toe up socks, or rather cuff last Afterthought socks. And what I'm going to do now is, here's both of them. This is the halfway point. What I'm going to be doing, just like with Afterthought heel socks, you pick up the right leg of every single stitch all the way around. That's the difference between separating socks and Afterthought heel socks. So you pick them all the way around. On one side you leave 1 row in the middle, and then on, I guess, the 3rd row up, 1 row you pick up, 1 row you leave, another row you pick up. So then you pick up the next row with the 1 row that you didn't pick up, round. I keep saying row, really I mean round. The round that you don't pick up, you're going to cut 1 stitch, just like that, and then we'll just frog that entire round, and then your socks are separated. So then you start on the heel as you normally would if you were doing a different color, a different heel. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry guys, I don't even know where my brain is. Then you would start on the toes like you normally would with toes if you were using a different color, because everything will be on the needle already. You'll have 2 socks without toes and without heels on needles. So you need to make sure you have enough double-pointed needles, or you have a spare set, or you can put them on like a stitch holder if you really want to. It sounds like a lot of work to me. I'd rather just put it on a bunch of DPNs. Anyways, then you start with your toe, you get your toes on, and then you can cut into your heels like you normally would with the afterthought heels. So, what am I really trying to say here? What I'm really trying to say is that these are 2 toes and 2 heels away from being complete socks. That's all. And they're going to be very long socks. They're socks for my mom. My mom really loves long socks. She likes it when they poke out of her boots in the winter. So if you're curious as to what this is Biscotti yarns on their Marguerite colorway. It's their Biz Sock base, which is 85-15 blend of superwash, merino, and nylon. It's 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon. My mom and I, she was here this weekend, and she's trying to decide on a signature color for herself. Orangey red is in the running, so maybe this will convince her. Yeah, out of curiosity, I'm just going to measure this to see how long this sock tube actually is. I haven't done that yet, believe it or not. Okay, so it's about 50 inches long, because this is 25 and then you double it. That's awesome. I'm really excited. I'm very excited. I've been on a little bit of a stash busting mission as well for my yarn stash. Since COVID, I haven't purchased any additional yarn, so I've just been knitting through the yarn that I do have here at home. It's been a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. In case you're curious what I'm drinking tonight, this is a nude vodka soda, and it's the raspberry lemon flavor. It's pretty good actually, if you like that sort of thing. You know, some people think it tastes like absolutely nothing and they don't like it at all, but that's fine. You're allowed to like what you like, and I'm allowed to like what I like. Right? I have one more thing on my needles right now, and it's not a pair of socks, which is kind of exciting, actually. I have been working on the Storm Shawl. It's a shawl pattern by Joji Locatelli. It's hanging out in my Joji & Co bag. This is a gift from my boss, Tammy. Yeah, I love this bag. It's very classy. Anyways. the shawl I'm working on, Storm Shawl. It is a single skein shawl, and I'm knitting it up in this. It's a color way that I had dyed many years ago, probably two maybe 3 years ago, and I've never used. It has just been kind of sitting around, and I really like the way it looks. I have just not knit it up because I didn't know what to knit it into, because I only had one skein and there's no way I'd be able to duplicate this again because it was so long ago. So I decided a shawlette would be the way to go. Since it was such a long time ago that I bought and dyed this, I have no idea what it is. I know it's got a little bit of stellina in it because it's sparkly, but that is all I know. It might be a merino nylon blend. It might just be merino and the stellina. And here it is. It's composed of a bunch of drop stitches, garter, and some eyelets here. I can see I messed up but that's okay. I'm not going to pull it back. It might not even be messed up. It might just be a little bit of a really loose stitch. I'm not sure. But here it is. I think it's going to be super cute when it's done. I do worry a little bit about the drop stitches catching on things and pulling, but we'll see. It's a gorgeous pattern, very intuitive. I'm enjoying it a lot. It's one of my just hang out at night and watch anime projects. So I can even, it's easy enough to follow even when we are watching subtitled anime and there's no English. So it should speak a little bit to how intuitive it is anyways. A little bit of a pink work. Okay, that, I went through that a lot quicker than I thought I would. Oh, and if you're curious, the storm shawl that is knitting up it's being knit up on 7mm / US size 4 circular needles. I think it's about 100 centimeters / 40 inches long. I measured really quick, but I did not double check to make sure that those are actually the measurements that line up. Just about 100 centimeters, about 40-inch circulars. Okay, so what is off my needles? You may have noticed I'm wearing this purple sweater. Yeah, I finished it. Boop, 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 boop. And I'm so excited. I love it. I love it. I love it so much. It is perfect. It is exactly what I wanted it to be. So I knit up the medium size. I knit it a little bit differently than my first sweater. On that one I did the cowl neck, I did full sleeves, and I adjusted the pattern a little bit to fit my measurements better. This one I just used the medium pattern instructions, and I actually swatched before I started, which is probably part of the problem. So I actually swatched before I started. My needle size was way off for what the gauge was calling for. So I ended up, I'm not even sure if I wrote down correctly what I was using. It was about 2 needle sizes difference. So I used 2 needle size difference for the part where it's calling for the larger needles, and where it's calling for the smaller needles, I think I used the 2 needle size difference as well. I was trying to do it by millimeter difference, but for the smaller ones I didn't have needles that were the right size to do a full 2 millimeter difference, so I just went with sizes instead, US sizes. So the pattern, it has 2 options. You can do a scoop neck or a cowl neck. I went with the scoop neck, and I went slightly long, slightly more just of stockinette in the round for the neck than the pattern called for. And I also switched to the smaller needles for the neck, where the pattern just said to keep it on the larger needles. And the result, I think my scoop neck is maybe a 1/2 inch closer to my neck than the pattern would have called for, which is great because now I don't feel like it's going to fall off my shoulders, which it wouldn't have anyways. It just makes me feel more comfortable when I'm wearing it. Other alteration was the sleeves. So the pattern does call for full sleeves. I obviously did not go with full sleeves. I went with 3/4 sleeves instead of full, because I always end up pushing my sleeves up to this point at work anyways. And this is where I'm going to, work is where I'm going to be wearing this sweater the most, because when I'm home I'm wearing pajamas. So, comfy clothes at home. But this way I don't have to worry about pulling my sweater up, and I don't have to worry about anything stretching or coming out of shape or anything like that, because it's already exactly where I would like them to be. So there. I knit this up in Lion Brand yarn, so it's 100% acrylic. No, I did not throw it in the washing machine yet. I'm scared to. I think it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine, but I am terrified to throw this in the washing machine on the off chance that something happens. So I will probably, despite the fact that I knit it up in acrylic to avoid the fear of the washing machine, I will probably hand wash this anyways and dry it. Hang it dry instead of throwing it in the dryer. If you have a different opinion, or if you would like to solidify that opinion, please let me know below. It would just be nice to have the opinion of someone who's not a complete internet stranger on that topic. Yes. So this was knit up in Lion Brand yarn. It is the color number 147, also known as Hot Springs. It is 100% acrylic yarn, and it is the Heartland base. A pretty good memory. If you'd like to see, it comes down, oh, you can't quite see where it comes down to. So just, well, my hips are up here, but it comes down to here. I really like it. Ooh! See if I can not fall over. Oh my goodness, that would be really embarrassing. So here it is. Very happy with it. And I feel like I finished it very quickly. I finished it in a month. Yeah, just crazy, blows my mind. Yeah, finished it in a month. So I brought up some yarn to go to High Prairie. Wait. I'm going to finish the knitting stuff first, then I'll get into the personal stuff. Please bear with me. Okay, knitting stuff. There's not much left. Upcoming and current items of note. So upcoming, I did mention the Bumblebush pattern. I am reknitting that, and it will be re-released in probably 3 to 5 weeks, if I had to guess. Stay tuned for updates. They will be on my Instagram if they're going to be anywhere. So that is the best place to find them. And the law school. The law school sock pattern has been re-released. It is also free on Ravelry until the end of August, so August 31st. There is a link in the show notes below to the Ravelry page where it will auto-apply that coupon, and then it's just easy peasy, click and purchase. Except it's not actually a purchase because it's free. Now, I do know there are a lot of people who are having accessibility issues with Ravelry, and I realize that's a very big problem. So I am looking into other places that I can put these patterns. I'm doing a little bit of research on my own. I know there are a lot of people who already spoken up about what they're going to do, so I'm going to revisit some of those comments, articles, blog posts, YouTube videos, and I will see if I can make the best decision for both you and for me. And obviously if it was a little bit easier for me to move everything over there, that would be great as well. So if you have any comments about that as well, please feel free to share down below or shoot me an email. It's Mallory@JustADoseOfLove.com, and that info is down below as well. And once I do find an alternate platform, there will be a similar deal going on the law school sock pattern at that time. When I say similar, it will still be free. I'm just not sure what the date range will be yet. So that's going to completely depend on how long it takes to find a platform and then move things over to there. So please be patient, and thank you so much for being patient with me. I know I'm a little slow when it comes to this sort of thing and getting that sort of thing done. So apologies in advance, and thank you. All right, so that is it for the knitting content. If you would like to say goodbye now, that is just fine. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend or start of your week, and I hope to see you again in 2 weeks. Now, if you are sticking around for a little more of the what's been going on behind the scenes here, well, a lot has changed. I say a lot, it's not really a lot, but I don't do change very well. So for me, it feels like a lot has changed, when in reality, maybe not. So Connor moved out. I know I keep saying that, but I still can't believe it. He's like the best brother I never had. Yeah, he's a great roommate. I absolutely loved having him as my roommate. It was great. We got along. Splendid. Best roommate I ever had. And now he's moving on to a new chapter in his life, which is great. I wish him all the best. I'm very sad for me, very happy for them, and I wish them all the best. And of course, that has led to me getting this beautiful craft room. I spent a weekend painting, so it is purple. You can probably see it in the background here. And the ceiling is pink. And I found this little hanging chandelier. Obviously, it's a hanging chandelier. I found this little chandelier. It is the cutest thing ever. It's probably that wide and that tall. And the little dangly crystals are pink, so it really goes with the room. I actually bought the chandelier first. It is secondhand. It's from the Restore Center. It was $15, and frankly, I can't believe I found it for that cheap. Woo! Very exciting for me. So then it was pink, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I gotta run with it now. So then I bought the pink paint for the ceiling, the purple paint for the walls. Did a whole bunch of painting, got rid of Connor's bed, the bed frame, the hutch that was over his desk. I have inherited his desk, so that's here. The wardrobe I got rid of all that basically in the same weekend. So that was great. It was all for free on Facebook Marketplace, so that was spectacular because then I didn't have to pay disposal fees, and I am a fan of reusing and upcycling, so that is perfect for me. I found this cute little couch. It is the most adorable little couch I've ever seen. It's 4 to 5 feet long and 2.5 feet tall, and it pulls out into just a foam bed on the floor. So it's not like a pull-out couch, but it's kind of like a pull-out couch. It's more like a onto the floor couch, which is great because then it's a bed and my mother doesn't have to sleep on the couch in the living room when she comes over. Perfect. So that was free on Facebook as well. I bought some pink and white curtains from Value Village, so secondhand, and then there's some lacy curtains as well, also from Value Village. All of the hanging tall along the top, Value Village. I can't believe I found 4 pieces that are exactly the same. So perfect. I can't even believe how well it worked out. I found a overhead projector, one of the old school ones with the with the arm and the light from a classroom. You know exactly what I'm saying when I do this, right? It's okay. Anyways, one of the old school overhead projectors I found on Kijiji. It was $20. It was perfect. I used it to put this mandala on the wall, and then I spent a weekend painting this mandala on the wall. You can kind of see it here. It's this, it looks more white, but it's actually silver paint. I only spilt the silver paint once, which was socked. I spilled half the can. I got silver all over my leg. I had to scoop it back into the container because I still needed it. I was only about half done this thing. The overhead projector light burnt out, which was a bit of a bummer. Wasn't quite done the mandala yet, but there was a spare bulb in there, which is amazing. What are the chances that there's a spare bulb inside the overhead projector? So, finished my mandala with this spare bulb, and that was so great. Fate was looking out for me that day. what else? My grandpa also passed away, so I went home for the funeral, celebration of life. I took this project with me and didn't bring enough yarn with me. I actually knit myself out of yarn on the way there. It's a 4-hour drive, and about 3 hours into it I was out of yarn. So then I got to do a bunch of socializing instead of knitting, which is, you know, probably better for me, really, than hiding somewhere and knitting. Yeah, it was really, really great to see so much of the family together. My family on my mother's side is huge, massive. My mother is one of 12, so I have a lot of cousins and second cousins and third cousins and aunts and uncles. It was nice to see everyone. Sad circumstance, but my grandpa, he was 95. He had a good long life, and I think he was ready. So that's, you know, that's really the best circumstance that it could have been. Yeah. So Connor moved out, had the funeral to go to, and what else? That might actually be it. As much as I said that there's a lot going on, it felt like a lot going on. Still feels like a lot going on. One of the tenants in the basement is moving out, so I wish her the best. I'm gonna miss her a lot around here. So that's new as well. Crazy, different, lots of stuff. Basically, my world feels like it's been turned on its head a little bit, and that's okay. It's okay. It's just been making me a little crazy in the meantime. But what do you do? The world keeps turning. I got a new plant. You see it keep moving over here. I'm pretty sure it's an alocasia. Not 100% sure though. It was a Valley Village Home Depot special. It's a tropical thriller, and that's the only information I have on it. And the pot size, 8 inches. But I got some new leaves coming in here. Very exciting. You probably know this, but I am a bit of a plant enthusiast. I have many in the house, and I have some lilies in the back that these lily bugs are killing, which is not good. I'm not impressed with that. I'll do something about that, hopefully. I have some tomatoes in the back. So before I start spouting completely disinteresting, useless information, I am going to bid you farewell. I hope you have a spectacular rest of your weekend and start of your week. I hope you are safe and happy and healthy and warm if it's cold outside, cool if it's warm outside, and just enjoying life to the fullest. But I will see you in 2 weeks. Stay safe and healthy.